So we are going live in 2 minutes. We are going live.
I give you the code for Quantfest', right?
Yeah, got it. So I would like you. So hi guys. So we are here to discuss a lot of things. First thing would be intro about what exactly are we going to do and what we actually do. And I think a lot of you are already familiar with our work. Uh, so we are initiating IICPC Quantfest 2025. I'm pretty sure you guys already would have participated in codefest in past couple of months. This is sponsored by Jane Street, Hudson River Trading, Tau Research Capital, and IMC Trading, and with two more firms. I think if you guys would have been going through the LinkedIn posts, you might have guessed, but they would be coming soon. The panelists here are, it's me, Ayush, my colleague Goris. There will be Aditya Jain, Pritesh Mehta from IIT Delhi, Dhruv Jain from IIT Bombay, Anu Agrawal again from IIT Delhi, and Siddharth Bhattacharya from ISI Kolkata. So all of us were involved in the problem setting team as well, and I'm pretty sure you guys will have an awesome time in the coming 3 months in the Quantfest. We also would be discussing a lot of sample problems. They might not, I mean, you guys would go through that and probably make it more interactive so that at least we could get to know an idea about how exactly are you guys facing the difficulty level of these problems. So, Gauri, would you like to initiate?
Yes. So, guys, let's start out with what is IICPC? Why are we what we are today? Right? So, let's get started. So, what is IICPC? What does IICPC stand for? So, IICPC stands for Intercollegiate Informatic and Competitive Programming Camp. And how did this, why is this happening and why does IICPC exist? Because we strongly believe to provide a platform for problem solvers despite any growth in AI or something like that, right? We believe that problem solvers should be rewarded, and providing them a platform to showcase their skill is extremely important. So after a successful code fest that we organized last year, this year, we are coming back with Quantfest, something for the quants, right? So let's take a quick glimpse for Codefest. I should be like next.
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Before that, I think we would go through what exactly we do, what is IICPC, and why exactly we formed that. So, IICPC stands for Intercollegiate Informatic and Competitive Programming Camp Private Limited. So, we also registered as a private limited. So, it's basically a startup now. It's a collective of like-minded students from all the IITs. Like, we have a very big team, close to 70, 80 guys, and all are, of course, all of the guys are really smart guys. All of my colleagues are. And we are here to bring a change in the country, particularly making a whole tech environment in the country. We also initiated one deep tech initiative. I think if you guys again go through the LinkedIn post, you will get a better idea of that. We will probably share more on that perhaps in next 1 month. So for now, we are conducting these two competitions. First is Codefest, second is Quantfest. The idea is to first train the guys, first get the let you guys involved in the two big competitions that go through a 3 month long stages, and then at the end also give recruitment to the students. So if I give the figures correctly, that would be like 27 guys got recruited last time in the Codefest. That also was in the top quants and software firms. In fact, more and more software firms are going to join in the Codefest as well. For now, in the Quantfest, it's basically aligned towards quants, that is probability, maths, and you'll see more market simulations, puzzles, and a lot of other stuff. Gauri, would you like to give them a glimpse of Codefest?
Yes. So last year we had 20,000 plus participants. Our preliminary round itself had around 40 to 50,000 people, which is one of the largest for any contest out there. Then the regionals happened at eight prestigious IITs. Not only that, we took top 50 competitors to the finals at IIT Madras Research Park. Not only that, everyone was handsomely given goodies, and a lot of people were then awarded internships as well. So, here are some of the photos. You can see that during the contest at night, there was dinner at ITC Grand, right? And after that, Jane Street also took the participants out for brunch. So not only was the competitive side taken care of, but during the off hours, all the participants were really rewarded for what they did and basically made it to the finals, right? So these are the memories from Codefest. With that being said, let's introduce Quantfest 2025 and its structure.
Yeah, so this is structured in three stages again for next 3 months. So starting with, there will be a preliminary round, then there will be a regional round, then there will be a finals. The preliminary round would be an offline round at these particular campuses that includes 23 IITs, BITS, all three BITS, Triple IT Hyderabad, Triple IT Delhi, Triple IT Lucknow, NIT Karnataka, Surathkal, and ISI Kolkata, and online for all other institutions across India. The reason for selecting particular institutes, it's not being any sort of bias or something. It's just because we couldn't contact a lot of institute for the offline. We just wanted to test this offline prelims for the first time. So you guys already know that how the situation has become with the advancement of AIs regularly and from the months to months. So we don't want to take a risk, because at the end the competition is also a medium for recruitment for so many firms. So top 600 students will qualify for regional round, and I'm glad to share that from this particular institutions itself, we have more than 7,000 registrations right now. Last year we had more than close to 17,000 registrations from in the Codefest across all the institutions, and there's still 1 month left for the registration deadline to finish. So I think we would see a couple of close to 12 or even 14, 15,000 students again participating in the competition. 600 students will be qualifying for regional round, which will be conducted offline at 10 IIT campuses on 27th of September. We have increased two IIT campuses, that is IIT BSU and IIT Kanpur. The reason for that was because last year there was an overweight on IIT Delhi as well. Among them, 570 to 580 students will be selected from the offline prelims, while 20 to 30 students from online following an interview process. So again, the reason for this also is not any sort of biasing. This is just to ensure that we get the best quality students, and even the firms want that. So we will definitely open this offline stages for all the institutions from next year. But since this year is a testing year, we would like to keep the offline stage limited to particular institutions. But you are free to participate online. Top 75 students will be from the regionals will be traveling to Chennai for 3 days finals. That is 31st October till 2nd of November. The 3 days will involve, the first day will be, there will be some sort of market simulations on the first day. Then again, some dinner at ITC, and I think a lot of other stuffs as well. Second day will be complete Jane Street day with some lot of puzzles, games, and I think electronic trading challenges. We'll get a more glimpse on that once you qualify regionals. The third day will be completely by IICPC for there will be a lot of things. I think we will also introduce you guys with some sort of projects then in the ITC Grand Chola. So along with lunch and a lot of other stuff so along with career fair. Yeah. Uh, you guys should register on the website by 7th of August on IICPC.com. And I think I already explained that we had close to 27 students getting recruited into SD or quant firms in the past Codefest. Just a minute. Yeah. So I would like to share the structure of 2025 Quantfest prelims. We'll be having complete probability and maths problems. There will be 12 problems in total, 5 to be solved mathematically, and answers should be submitted on the Codeforces ID. Like you have to just submit 539 if your answer is that. 7 problems will be there which must be coded. So there will be hidden multiple test cases just similar to what Codeforces is having, and you'll have to code that. But I assume you won't need a lot of data structures in that, but still it's always good to have data structures prepared, particularly DT. So the dates for the prelims is 24th of August 2025 at your campus offline, and online for those which campuses are not involved in the prelims offline. And yeah, for the venue, we have right now Pritesh from IIT Delhi. He also would be explaining how exactly that would be conducted in IIT Delhi. And we have, I would like to say, like IIT Delhi is the biggest representation till now. Like we have from IIT Delhi, it's like close to 500 guys have already registered, and we have a cap of 500 guys. So it would be hard to take more students from IIT Delhi. But yeah, if we'll try to ensure that we get more registrations from other institutions as well. These are some of the prelims guidelines. We have, please keep your screen monitoring on, whether you are participating offline, you are participating online. Submit it in the form post contest. So make sure your internet is well, and we don't want to inculcate any situation that lead to your disqualification. We take plagiarism very strictly. I think you all know that 700 guys, out of the top 700 guys, we had disqualified 300 students last year. So please take it seriously. External ID won't be allowed. There are some specific reasons for that, and we want to ensure that it is fulfilled. So no, not a single external IDs would be allowed in the Quantfest. No external resources like LLMs. For sure, you won't be allowed use of any LLM or any resources that are available online. You are allowed to carry just 5 blank A4 size papers in the exam hall with a ballpoint pen without any electronic devices, watch, phone, or anything else. You have to keep your personal laptops so that you can screen record and keep it saved and save it in the form post contest. So there are several ways to record the screen. One thing is you can use the OBS, but otherwise you can also screen share that on the, like you can make a private, like share it on the privately on the YouTube channel. Then you can just share the link of the YouTube channel. All the firms will be checking your resume, so try to keep your resume updated by 28th August, which would be the result day of the prelims. So even if you don't have a particular prepared resume right now, you can still register. But before we release the results, we would ask you to give the resumes. We'll be sharing the detailed structures of regionals and finals shortly after the prelims results are announced. So we'll also be sharing a lot of resources post prelims, a lot of resources regarding option trading market. So I think you guys for now can prepare well for the prelims, and then we can see later. These are our 4 sponsors, and starting with our Jane Street, our title sponsor. Then we have IMC Trading, we have Tau Research Capital, we have Hudson River Trading. There are a few more firms which would be joining in a couple of months. 1 month. And I think you guys already know about these firms. They are very selective about your talent. So like you should be best of the best. And in fact, I think this would give a very good boost to your so like this would give you a very good boost to your like technical skills throughout participating in the 3 stages. So I would definitely like ask you guys to participate in the competition. We have shared these particular resources. So Pritesh, are you there?
Yes.
Yeah, so you just had a quant intern in Citadel, right? So like, what exactly did you prepare for getting the quant intern?
Like my role was software dev.
Okay.
Because- So used learncpp.com to prepare for the data structures and the object-oriented part.
Hmm. Okay.
And for quant, I tried puzzles, but at the end, I chose the software role for that
Yeah,
internship.
you were also part of the C program, and I think a lot of students from computer science, 28 grads, like are aspiring to participate in the C program of Jane State. So how did you prepare for that?
So they had one quant test and one software test. So the quant test included some puzzles one to two puzzles they were in series some puzzles was extension of the puzzles before that and there are four questions similar to that and for software role they took three coding questions uh, and on the basis of both of the results they invited us for the C.
Okay, cool. So I think Anna and Dhruv joined the meet right now. I think they would be joining in a couple of minutes. So I would like to share my experience. I also have a quant intern for next summer, and it's a trading intern. So I would like to reiterate for this prelims, please finish this book, a practical guide to quantitative finance interviews. It's also called Green Book, and it has amazing problems. Like you'll find some of the similar problems which these quant firms ask, like I don't know if you guys know that hat problem, then dice problems, and there are a lot of problems like that. And this book will give you a very good path to prepare for that, and at least grind that out in the next 1 month. It would be very helpful for the prelims. Attempt all contests on code forces. Definitely you need a very good coding skills, so I would reiterate, please attempt all the contests on code forces very seriously without using LLMs. I know like it's really hard these days for you guys to give the contests when some of the guys already would be using LLMs and giving the contest. So it's to be honest, like I think Goris can share more on that. What do you feel like use of LLMs in the contest, and what exactly, how does it drawn? I mean, how does it affect the students in the coding skills?
Right. So, okay, AI is coming up and using AI is fine when you're working. But when you're learning, if you depend a lot on LLMs, right, it takes away the problem solving skills which you have and it hurts you more than it helps you actually. Because if you don't actually learn and spend a lot of time with LLMs, the thing is anybody else can do what you are doing, right, which makes you quite replaceable. So that is fine, but using LLMs and everything in contest, it harms your chances more, to be honest. And in code, in basically in IICPC, we're really strict based on this. Last year we took out 300 people. If we find you to use LLMs in this Quantfest prelims as well, we probably won't allow you to participate in any of our contests later. So be honest, it's okay if it doesn't go good. If it goes good, very well. But we respect honesty and we hope that you don't use LLMs that much.
So, and also there are some of the platforms like Brains Tailors. You can try some puzzles on that. Probably it will take you just 1 or 2 hours to complete all the puzzles there. Then there's puzzledquant.com. Perhaps you can try that out as well before the quant interviews or something. So that also should not take more than 1 or 2 days to prepare. So I think has Anna joined? Let me just check once.
Hello. Yes, yes, I've joined.
Okay, okay. Just let me. So I'll just screen share once. Okay, so we can initiate the discussions on the sample problems, starting with Arnav Agrawal. He is from IIT Delhi. He also has a quant intern next summer. So it would be awesome having his guidelines in working for the prelims.
So yes, we'll just walk through a sample problem, like similar to one you might expect in the prelims. So we have a game with two players. Let's call them Alice and Bob, and both of them have 100 marbles each, and they can put anywhere between 1 and 100 marbles in a box. And the number of marbles is secret; it is not revealed to the other player. Then the game continues that one marble is randomly drawn from the box, and if the marble belongs to Alice, then assuming that Alice had put A marbles in the box, he gets paid 100 minus A monetary units from a third party. And similarly, if the marble belongs to Bob, then assuming he put B marbles in, he gets paid 100 minus B units from a third party. So, assuming that both the players are playing rationally and optimally, find the expected payout of player A. So that's the question. I'll give like a couple of minutes for you guys to try it out. You can send the answers on the live chat itself. And I will clarify one thing. The players cannot communicate before the game and decide on a strategy. They both will act in their own self-interest. Yes, Ishan, both the players have 100 marbles each. A and B are variable for. There is only one turn, so like the marbles will only be drawn once. There are not multiple turns in the game. So we have a couple of different answers. I'll give a couple of more minutes. By playing optimally, we are just trying to maximize the monetary units. We do not care about the number of marbles. So just the payout you get if you get the marble drawn is your marble. So I think we can proceed with the solution. The correct answer is in fact 33.5. So we'll just walk through the solution. So one key thing to notice in the beginning is that the game is completely symmetric for both the players. So they both put in the marbles at the same time. So their optimal strategy will also be the same. If we can remember this point. So let's take a general case where Alice puts in A balls, and Bob puts in B balls. And we calculate the expected payout of Alice. So the probability that the ball that is drawn belongs to Alice is just A upon A plus B. And the payout he will get is 100 minus A. So his expected payout is just the product A upon A plus B times 100 minus A. Now, let's move to the next slide. Yes, so let's try to fix B and try to find the A which maximizes the expected payout of Alice. So we can treat this as a function of one variable, and we can to find the maximum value, we'll just differentiate the function with respect to A and set it to 0. And doing that, we get the equation below. And if we set it to 0, we'll get the value of A in terms of B as a quadratic, which is in the next section. Yes, so solving the quadratic will lead to a value of A, an optimal value of A given B. And obviously ignoring the negative value, we get that the optimal value of A is under root B square plus 100B minus B. And since the game is completely symmetric, given A, the optimal value of B will also be the same. And moving on to the next, to find the optimal strategy, we know that both the player will put in the same number of marbles. So substituting A is equal to B in that equation will give us a quadratic in a single variable. And solving the quadratic will get us two roots, 0 and 100 by 3. Next slide. Yes, and as 0 is not a valid solution, we can conclude that the optimal number of marbles will be 100 by 3. But obviously, the number of marbles put in has to be an integer. So you have to check for the values 33 and 34 to see if the strategy is a Nash equilibrium. So what is a Nash equilibrium? Basically, it says that if Alice knows the number of marbles Bob has put in, if he does not have any incentive to deviate from his strategy, then, and this situation holds for each player in the game, then this set of strategy is called a Nash equilibrium. And this property is quite important in two-player games where the optimal strategies has to be a Nash equilibrium. Otherwise, there will be an incentive to deviate from this strategy, and that will lead to a different payout. So we'll check for 33 in the next slide. Yes, so for 33, we'll just substitute in the values and get the expected payout for 33, as 33.5. And to check if it's a Nash equilibrium, we will vary A and fix B and see if A can do any better by putting in a different number of marbles. And we'll find out if B puts in 33 marbles, then the best option for A is also to put in 33 marbles. So 33, will be a Nash equilibrium. And similarly, we can do the same analysis for 34 as well. We'll get that the expected payout for both the players are 33, and it is also a Nash equilibrium. So in this case, we have a game which has multiple Nash equilibriums, 33 and 34 both. But obviously, since 33 gives us the better expected payout, both the players will choose to put in 33 marbles to maximize the number of marbles. So we'll get that the optimal expected payout comes out to be 33.5 with both the players putting in 33 marbles each. So this was a pretty introductory question to a game theory question. And yeah, the concept of Nash equilibrium is quite important and useful in problems like these. So I'll have Dhruv come in for the next question.
Yeah, so am I audible?
Yeah.
Okay. So again, this is the next question and similar flavor, like another two-player game. But with this, what I want to demonstrate a type of problem, what you'll see a lot of times, that is like when you have games with rounds in, you have incremental benefits, is what the idea is. So yeah, this game is pretty simple. You have a 20-sided die and your friend Bob has a 30-sided die. Now, the goal for both of you is to have the maximum value on your dice. So you roll your dice, but since you have a lower, like, uh, smaller dice, because you can get maximum only 20, you have an option to re-roll if you are not happy with the number what you get. But Bob cannot. And yeah, but before re-rolling, you cannot see what Bob got on his roll, and similarly, Bob cannot see what you got on your roll. And if there is a tie, so say like both roll 10, then Bob wins. So just if you could tell what would be your strategy to maximize your probability of winning. So, so far, I don't see any spawns. So you can start thinking in a way like if it was just a game where you did not have an opportunity to reroll, what kind of numbers would you get? And like on getting which number would you want to reroll or you won't want to reroll? Yes, you have the opportunity to reroll only once. Okay, so I see a few responses. One minute more and then we'll start discussing on this. Yes, Bob knows that you have a 20-sided die and you know that Bob has a 30-sided die. You get to reroll only once. Right then, so we'll start discussing this now. Uh, Next slide. Yeah, can we have the next slide? So yeah, the basic intuition here is let's start thinking for a single roll. So given that you get X on your first roll, what is the probability of winning? So if you get X, you win only when your opponent gets 1, 2, and so on up to X minus 1. So it is X minus 1 by 30. So next. So now the main question comes, see, if it was just a single round, you know your probability, what is the probability that you win? Now you're given a chance to reroll. Uh, how do we start thinking about this? So say like, if you don't have any idea about how to start, you can think like, okay, if I have a 20, then should I reroll? So intuitively you will feel no, because there is like a 19 by 20 probability that you will get a number lower than 20, and which kind of reduces your chance of winning. And similarly, say if you if you roll 2, then there is a very high chance that you are losing on this one. So you should reroll. So essentially what we are trying to maximize is the probability of winning after the second roll. So how you can think is, you have 2 rounds and you evaluate probabilities that given X, if you reroll, what is the probability of winning uh, after rerolling and without rerolling. And if you get some benefit by rerolling, then you should follow that. So next slide. Yeah, so after reroll, since you have to keep the number, so your probability of winning can be calculated by total probability theorem. So like probability of winning given X times probability you roll an X. So yeah, each of the outcomes are equally likely from 1 to 20. So 1 by 20 times, as we saw before, X minus 1 by 30 was a probability of winning. And when you calculate, you get 19 by 60. So when should you reroll? Just saw earlier, if your probability of winning after rerolling is greater than without, like, say if you don't have a roll again. So doing the computations, you get that X is less than 10.5. So your optimal strategy would be like to reroll when X is less than equal to 10. And if you have anything greater than 10, you just keep it and don't roll. So this was like a very simple flavor. Now you can modify it by putting in some like, you can say penalties to reroll. Like you have to give some fee to reroll, and that could be say proportional to your roll. It could be proportional to number of rounds. A lot of things can be complicated further, or you can have more rounds as well to get more rolls. And another variant could be you get another role, Bob also gets another role. So yeah, we can think over these questions, ponder upon how would your strategies change. So we would like to move on to the next question. And yeah, so this is a little bit towards the counting flavor kind of a problem. You are in possession of n pairs of socks. So first thing to clarify is each pair has 2 distinct socks. So both of them of the same color are not the same. Uh, and yeah, so each pair has a different color and labeled them from 1 to n. Now you take the socks blindly from the drawer and pair them at random. So you have to compute what is the probability that they are paired so that colors of any pair differ by at most 1. Right. So the scenario is simple. You put in your 2n socks and you just take one out of one at random and pair them. And you have to find the probability that for each pair, the absolute value of the difference of the colors is less than equal to 1. So like say if one sock has color 3, then the other one which you are pairing it with should have one of 2, 4 or 3. And yeah, one important point which could probably lead to a wrong answer is that the socks here are distinct. So both the socks are not the same. And again, when you are like just blindly picking them and pairing them at random, do note that it is not necessary. You must have like say a left and a right. It could be a left and a left, right and a right. That is well. So yeah, can you give the probability in terms of n that they are paired so that the absolute value of the difference of the colors is at most 1? Yeah, do note that the question asks about the probability and not the number of ways. Someone has written 2 times n factorial. can take 1 more minute. Do note that this question is for a general end, so if you can report the general answer, it would be better. There is an answer like 5 upon 2n minus 1, 5 upon 2n. So do think, say if there is n is 1, then your answer gives 5 or 5 by 2 or those as answers. So your probability cannot be greater than 1. So like this is just a way to check if what you get is like correct or using some corner cases. So yeah, we can proceed with the discussion of the problem. So yeah, next slide. So if you think from like a counting problem, usually there are some ways where you just like using inclusion exclusion principle, or maybe like list down the cases and do. So here, if you think about listing down the cases, so say 1 is paired to 1, then 2 is paired to 3, or 2 is paired to 2, and so on, it can get very clumsy and probably very hard to write down every possible case. Like, so everyone is paired to exactly itself. Some k are paired to those numbers which are greater than itself by 1. Some m are paired to numbers which are 1 less than them. So yeah, it can get a little clumsy there. So what we can do is recursion. Like, so just replicate the problem on smaller sizes by just making a few choices. So you have 2 socks and exactly 2 with colors 1, 2, so on up to n. So say you pick the first color, a sock from color 1 has exactly 2 choices. Either it can be paired to another sock of the same color or one of color 2. So you say an is the number of such ways, and now we'll try to get some relation of an with 2 further smaller sets of this problem by once matching 1 to 1 and 1 to 2. So next slide. Yeah, think yeah. So first the simple case where you pair 1 with 1. So 1 gets paired to 1 and you have n minus 1 colors, and it becomes the similar sub problem. So yeah, that is an minus 1 ways. And yeah, next slide. And now the more complicated case where 1 is paired to 2. So do note that that is why I mentioned the specific condition in the problem, both the socks are distinct. So if you have, say, two entities like A1 and A2 and B1 and B2, and you want to pair an A to another B, you will have 2 possible ways and not 1, because both the B's are distinct and both the A's are distinct. So yeah, if one pairs with 2, then the other 2 also has to pair with 1. And the reason why this must happen is because this is like a bijection between the 2 set of numbers what you have. If you pair 1 to 2 and 2 is gone, so if you pair 2 to 3, then you cannot pair, 1 remains unpaired, which is not possible, or else you won't be able to create n pairs. So yeah, you have 2 choices, just the A1, A2 and B1, B2 analogy, or as on the slide. So yeah, 2 times, and then you have n minus 2 numbers to match in a similar way. So that will be 2 times an minus 2 ways. So yeah, next slide. And finally, what we have is an is equal to an minus 1 plus 2 times an minus 2. So a couple of comments on this. One is you can solve this using the characteristic equation, and this has pretty nice roots like 2n minus 1. And you can compute the base cases where n is 1 and n is 2, and figure out the coefficients for 2 to the power n and minus 1 to the power n. That is one method. some recurrences may not have like trivial roots, so you can use generating functions, or maybe say some recurrence itself, like it's very hard to calculate a good enough solution in closed form to maybe say code it up. Then yeah, you can definitely use recursion, but do take care of the complexity. So dynamic programming can be a good way to solve this. So yeah, that was a little bit from the coding perspective. Finally, you have total pairings. You have to group 2n things into n groups of 2. So 2n factorial upon n factorial and 2 to the 2 factorial to the n. So final probability will be 2 to the power n plus 1 plus minus 1 to the n times 2 to the n factorial upon 3 times 2n factorial. So this was again to demonstrate a little bit of counting problems and how recursion can be helpful sometimes if we can directly not list the cases. So yeah, we'll move on to the next problem. And yeah, so here you are given 3 random variables, x1, x2, x3. All are independent and identically distributed, following the distribution uniform from 0 to 3. And you have to find out the probability that the median of these 3 lies from 1 to 2. So yeah, this is just a standard notation for second order statistic among these. And yeah, so you can take a couple of minutes to think over this. Yeah, IID stands for independent and identically distributed. That is, x1, x2, and x3 all are independent of each other and all follow the same distribution, that is uniform 0 to 3. So So one hint to maybe start up this is when you are given a random variable, what can be a starting method about thinking over finding the probability it lies in some interval? Like you can maybe use distribution functions or you can integrate its density function over that interval. So just a hint to get started with. You see two answers which are 1 by 3. Yeah, that is a good approach. And about dividing them in the 3 intervals, and then so it is something which I'll discuss again. Yeah, I got the first correct answer. That's 13 by 27. So maybe others can keep on working and we'll proceed to the discussion of the problem. So yeah, next. So the first solution which I'm trying to present is a little bit rigorous towards distribution functions and random variables. So yeah, when, just as I said earlier, when you see something like this in your mind, like you have say max of x comma y, and you are trying to find out the probability it is in some interval or min, these are problems which you might have seen. So yeah, what do you do is you try to figure out of either getting the distribution function or the density function, and then proceed. So yeah, there are like n IID random variables, and if each of the distribution functions be denoted by f, so yeah, we want the distribution function of xk. So this is something which I'm trying to demonstrate in a general setting where you're trying to find the distribution function of the kth ranked random variable. And yeah, so you can see a formal definition of the kth order statistic. Next slide. Yeah, so essentially, can we find the distribution function for this? And yes, it does come out to be a very nice form. So probability that xk is less than equal to x is the same as xi are less than or equal to x for at least ki's. And that is like you just pick up all the possible, in simple terms, you pick up all the possible uh, such case and sum the probabilities for them, since each of them is disjoint. So what you get finally is you will do a summation that say k xi's are less than equal to x, then k plus 1, k plus 2, and so on up to n. And for that, you essentially just need to pick L out of n. So n choose L, you pick up L random variables which will be less than equal to x, and the rest will be greater than x. So that will be like n choose L, fx to the power L, and 1 minus fx to the power n minus L. And this is your distribution function for the kth order statistic, where you have n independent ID random variables, and f is a distribution function. So yeah, next slide. So yeah, just if you substitute the values here, so you have like k is 2, n is 3, and f, yeah, so for f you have, so given this as your distribution function for x2, now you need to find out f of that 2 minus f of 1. That will be like probability it's less than 2 and greater than 1. So yeah, next slide. So that is what we have just computed. F of 2 minus f of 1, and you can see the answer is 13 by 27. Now I'll also discuss another solution, sorry, for the same problem, which uses like shows some good properties of uniform distribution. Next slide. So yeah, sometimes this can be too tedious to perform with derivations. You might not end up with a good closed form solution. So yeah, like again, if you have like uniform distributions, you can use some nice properties to like estimate things. And one of them is, so here each xi has an equal chance to be in these three intervals, like from 0 to 1, 1 to 2, and 2 to 3. And I'll just label them. If it's from 0 to 1, it will be 1. And similarly from 1 to 2, 2, and 2 to 3, 3, to show what are the possible combinations. So yeah, next slide. So for the median to be between 1 to 2, we have the following 4 cases. So the lowest one can be in 0 to 1, and the highest one again can be in 1 to 2 but greater than this, and similarly 1 to 3, 2 to 2, and 2 to 3. But remember, this is just a rank, and we are not told that a particular random variable is the median. Median can be any one of these. So we can permutate the first in 3 ways. Like you just need to pick one position for the 1. So 3 choose 1. Second is like just 3 factorial ways. Third, you don't have much, like you just have one permutation for this. And again, for the last one, 3 choose 1 ways. So totally you have 13 combinations which are favorable. And the total combinations for each random variable, you can either assign it 1, 2, or 3. So yeah, you have 27. So that will be 13 by 27. So again, just trying to show that a problem can be solved using like 2 completely different ways as well. One was using calculus a little more rigorous way, and this is using some just good properties of uniform distribution. So yeah, I think that's it from my side, and I'll pass on to Siddharth for the further problems discussion.
Hi all, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah. So I'll be discussing one problem, which I think is quite interesting. So I'll just start reading the problem. That is, I have a positive integer n, and I will denote it to be tripairable if it is possible to partition the set 1 to n into disjoint pairs so that the sum of the two elements in each pair is a power of 3. So an example has been provided in the question statement, that is 1 2 3 4 5 6 can be decomposed into three disjoint sets: 1 2 which adds up to 3, 3 6 which adds up to 9, which is 3 squared, 4 5 which also adds up to 9, which is 3 squared, so which are all powers of 3. And we want to determine the number of positive integers which are less than or equal to 2024, which are also tripairable. 2024 is just an arbitrary choice. You can derive it for any arbitrary n. So I think I'll give you 3-4 minutes to try, and yeah, till then I'll wait. One slight hint would probably be, there are, in short, I believe, two fundamentally different ways to approach this, and both of them. So one is by one for one. I think you would require some intuition, which is coming up with some claims and then trying to prove it. The other one is technical, as in you can go into the base 3 expansion and try to figure out stuff in there. That makes the computation quite direct. But mm, what I'll be doing is I'll probably be discussing the more intuitive part of this problem, that is by coming up with claims and by observing stuff, which I think is quite important in all of these contexts. Uh, 337 is one of the answers which I can see in the chat. Um, I'll give 1 or 2 more minutes, I think, for the problem. So I've seen quite a couple of answers. I think I'll start discussing. Can you please go to the next slide? Yeah, thank you. Uh, the most trivial observation after reading the question is that n has to be even, because you're trying to disjointify and find pairs which sum up to a power of 3. So that is the first observation. Um, the first thing which is quite non-trivial to observe is the following: is that if there exists an integer a, which and the integer n, which we are trying to check if it is tripairable or not, if it lies in between the interval 3 to the power of a and 2 times 3 to the power of a, then we claim that it is not tripairable. And this claim can be easily proved by checking an edge case, which is just inherently trying to pair 3 to the power of a. So as we see that in our claim we have written that n is greater than equal to 3 to the power of a. So there must be some corresponding pair for 3 to the power of a while we are trying to disjointify the set. So uh, 3 to the power of a plus b should be equal to 3 to the power of c by the condition of tripairability for some integer c, and obviously c has to be greater than a since b is greater than 0. And uh, if you go and subtract it, and we also know that b is less than 2 to the power 2 into 3 to the power of a. So something which is less than 2 to the power 2 into 3 to the power of a can never add up to some higher power of 3. So uh, which shows that c has to be less than a plus 1, and if c is less than a plus 1, then b has to be negative, which is not possible because b cannot be negative because we are trying to find tripairable integers from the set 1 to n. So yeah, uh, this is a contradiction. Yeah. So the second non-trivial observation is the following: if the integer n lies in between 2 into 3 to the power of a and 3 to the power of a plus 1, uh, then we claim that n is tripairable if and only if 3 to the power of a plus 1 minus n minus 1 is tripairable. So it's basically what we are trying to do here is essentially make a sub problem inside this problem, which makes our life easier to calculate. So we are coming up with an easier condition to check for tripairability. So the proof of this also is not that hard. Uh, so so b is an integer and it lies between n and 3 to the power of a. Uh, Now again we'll try to check for the extremal case for n. So if we try to consider a tri-pairing of n, and since b is greater than 3 to the power of a, and 3 to the power of a plus 2 minus b is greater than n, because we know that n is bounded above by 3 to the power of a plus 1. So 3 to the power of a plus 2 minus b will trivially be greater than n, because if you just multiply 3 in the initial claim on both the sides, it is quite visible. Uh, so that implies that b must be paired with 3 to the power of a plus 1 minus b. The number b, yeah, should be paired with 3 to the power of a plus 1 minus b. This implies that every number b from 3 to the power of a plus 1 minus n to n is paired with 3 to the power of a plus 1 minus b. So basically what we are trying to do is we are trying to internally pair every integer which lies between 2 into 3 to the power of a and 3 to the power of a plus 1. So essentially the whole problem is now converted into trying to pair for the positive integers up to 3 to the power of a plus 1 minus n minus 1, which proves the lemma because we have an if and only if condition. We can go either ways. If 3 to the power of a plus 1 minus n minus 1 is tripairable, then by the above argument, the other side is also true. So yeah, you can change the next slide. Yeah. Um, So a corollary which comes out of all of these lemmas is the following: that given any positive integer a, we claim that there are exactly 2 to the power of a minus 1 tripairable numbers less than or equal to 3 to the power of a. So we'll try to prove this by induction. The base case is quite trivial because when you have a equal to 1, only n equal to 2 is a valid case since 1 plus 2 is 3. Uh, for the inductive step, we assume that everything is true till a minus 1, and uh, we then apply the two lemmas in between 3 to the power of a minus 1 and 3 to the power of a. And so for till a minus 1, we have 2 to the power of a minus 1 by the induction hypothesis, and the other part which we are trying to count uh, we can use lemma 2 to convert back to the interval 1 to 3 to the power of a, because what it allowed us to do was it gave us an if and only if condition, which allowed us to trace back to an interval in which we may know the number of tripairable integers. So again, there it will be the sum will again be 2 to the power of a minus 1. So if you add that, 2 times 2 to the power of a minus 1 is 2 to the power of a, and then you have an extra minus 1 from the induction hypothesis. So that is there. Now we just apply all of these lemmas for the to do this finally. And for 2024, so what we'll do is that 2024 lies between 3 to the power of 6 and 3 to the power of 7. 3 to the power of 7 is 2187. 3 to the power of 6 is 729. uh, and by using the previous corollary which we got, uh, we can easily see that there are 63 tripairable numbers between 1 to 729. And uh, we will use lemma 1 to count the number of tripairable integers in 730 to 2024. uh, so basically what we'll do is that we'll use lemma 1 and we'll see the so from lemma 1 we get that all the tripairable integers should always lie between 1458 to 2024, which is basically 729 times 2, and the interval which we want, the 2024. And now we'll invoke lemma 2 to come back to the uh, range in which we know the number of uh, tripairable integers. So if we apply lemma 2, we will get that 729 and 2024. So basically 2187 minus 2024 minus 1, which is 3 to the power of 7 minus n minus 1, that is 162. So we just need to count the number of tripairable integers in the following range, that is 162 to 729. And by lemma 1 we know that the number of tripairable integers in uh, 1 to 3 to the power of a is 2 to the basically by lemma 1 we know that from 2 into 3 to the power of a to 3 to the power of a plus 1 there are no tripairable integers. So again we'll invoke the corollary to count the number of tripairable integers, that is 63 minus 15, that is 48. And uh, so we'll just add up both the things and we'll get the final answer, which is 111.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Siddharth, and thanks for such theoretical problem, and like it was really nice. So I think we can. Oh wait, where's the problem? Did you move the slide? Okay, fine. We'll start with two simple problems. Okay. Starting with this particular problem, Nobita and Suzuka are in a sweet but unpredictable relationship. So with Suzuka's feelings shifting from day to day. If she likes Nobita on a given day, there's just a 50% chance she won't like him the very next day. If she doesn't like him on a particular day, there's just 1 by 16 chance she will start liking him again the very next day. So if she doesn't like Nobita for 2 consecutive days, she decides to end the relationship on the second day. So given that she liked Nobita on April 30, what is the expected day of their breakup? Uh, 2 more minutes. Cool. So can you give me the number of days? You might have got some decimal, right? So it would be better to evaluate. Yeah. All right. So it's 16 by 5. So this was supposed to be one of the easiest problem. You'd see we create two states, one for expected number of days until the breakup if C likes him on that particular day. B if C doesn't like him but liked him the day before. So we have 50% chance that C will stop liking Novita if C did on the previous day. So that means if she likes him today, so we have 50% chance she will continue liking him. So we'll move to state A. There's a 50% chance she starts disliking him. So we'll move to state B. So we have an equation A is equal to 1 plus A by 2 plus B by 2. Again, if she doesn't like Novita on it today, but liked him yesterday, so we'll have 1 by 16 probability that she will likes him again. So we'll go back to state A again. And there was this statement that if she doesn't like Novita for 2 consecutive days, she will decide to end the relationship. So we won't need any state B here. So that would be just solve these two equations. You will get 3.2 days. So it should be my third or early my fourth. We'll head to second problem. It's a simple problem as well. Perhaps I think 1 or 2 minutes should be more than enough. So this is one of the example of how the coding problems can be. So here I'm asking you just for one test case, that is B1 is equal to 7 and B2 8. But this can be generalized, but this is quite simple. You can expect much harder problems in the prelims. So for now, just solve it for B1 7 and B2 8. Yeah, it's correct. 185 by 999. I would just start the discussion. So if a number n has k digits in base 7, so it should be greater than equal to 7 to the power k. If I and it should have fewer digits than base 8, so it should be less than 8 to the power k. So we just check the number of numbers and with k digits in base 7, that is 8 to the power k minus 7 to the power k numbers we have to check. So since we are considering all the values of k such that n is less than 512, so 2 to the power 9, yeah. So we'll be checking 8q minus 7q plus, so basically summing this all, we'll get 185. So this would be 5 by 27. I think we'll then head to two tough problems. I think I'm looking for one game theory problem. Yeah, this one. Perhaps you guys can take a screenshot of this and just share the solution in respective groups. There's one amazing problem as well. Then we can, yeah, I want you guys to think on this problem. Let's give you guys 4 minutes to solve this. We have a positive integer n written on the blackboard. So we replace the numbers according to these two rules. So we first replace the number by a positive multiple of itself. We will then replace the number by a number with the same digits in a different order. So like the new number is allowed to have the leading digits, which are then deleted. So as in like 410 can be 041, and then 0, you can delete the number digit 0. So I created two possible sequences. For 11, it was like such a long sequence. For 13, it's you multiply by 4, you get 52. Sorry. Then you interchange the digits, it becomes 25. You multiply by 4 again, it becomes 100. You interchange, you will get 1. Similarly, for 11, it works like this. So for which values of n it is possible to obtain 1 after a finite number of such moves? We won't be keeping any DSA problems. So I think, as in like you won't need any DSA, but as in graphs or something, but DP is always useful. So you should be prepared with that. So the first few problems which Arnav and Dhruv discussed, they were also part of Jane Street interviews problems. The core idea of these competitions is also to align with the interviews process of the quants as well. So if you do well in this type of problems, I think quants will definitely love to recruit you. Yeah, so I want the proof of this for non-multiple of 3. And once you are done with the proof, just share in the groups again. So we are short of time. We have to conduct a Q&A session. This is one last problem I will discuss again. So you have a integer n representing this. So you are given an integer n as the input. Uh, so given a set Sn, this part 1 to n, you make a subset A with size k, which will be represented in the sorted array. So for such an array A, define a function f as the number of sorted arrays B. So you make another sorted array B such that B is also a subset of S of size k. And for every index I, you will have these two being satisfied. So basically AI is minus BI, modulus of that should be less than modulus of BI minus AI plus 1. And again, AI plus 1 minus BI plus 1, modulus of that should be less than BI minus AI plus 1. So your task is to compute the maximum value of F over all valid arrays A. So someone was asking DSA or something. So this is one of the way we can ask the problems in the coding set. So I will give you guys 3 minutes or 2 minutes to solve this. Then we can discuss the solution. Post that, we'll start QA session, and you're free to ask any question, any doubts or anything regarding the whole process, and we'll love to answer it. Can you give me a general answer for G of n? Not answer, I just need the mathematical form, maybe in the form of combinations. Yeah. Okay, I think we will head to discussion. Fine. So let's define G of A n in K, where n is greater than or equal to K, be the number of sets with element K satisfying the above properties. So we had these two properties. Uh, so we have to ideally maximize this function G, and maximum of function of A and n, where A belongs to the set S, is equal to max of H. So it's ideally the maximizing, H is basically maximizing G. So when we are maximizing this F, it's ideally equal to maximizing the H. So I think right. So H of, so let's yeah. So what I started with was I took H as NCK, total number of and basically choose all the so basically they are just NCK sets with K elements in total 1 to n set S. So now consider a set C, which is C1, which has this element C1 to CK with CIs at the each element, just define each element as n minus k plus I. So for B array, all the CI element would be greater than or equal to BI. Since so in that case, modulus of CI minus BI is always equal to CI minus BI. Again, modulus of BI minus CI plus 1 would be negative of that. So should be CI plus 1 minus BI. So CI plus 1 minus BI is always equal to CI minus BI. And again, this would be obvious, but yeah, modulus of CI plus 1 minus BI plus 1 would be less than CI plus 1 minus BI plus 1. So since all the sets B would be satisfying the conditions with respect to set C, so ideally, the idea was to prove that this equality holds true. So at the end, we perhaps get to know that H of A and K will be equal to NCK. So you just have to choose the largest number among these whole sets of NC1, NC2, NC3 till NCN, which would be equal to N floor of N by 2, NC floor of N by 2. So we'll now open the QA session now, and you're free to ask any questions you want. Are there any doubts regarding how proctoring would be and something like that? Okay, so how do you plan to combat shading of the numerical type answers in offline proctoring? Fine. So thing is that we would be monitoring your screen recording for all the students. So when you would be sitting offline for the campuses, there will be invigilators and your screen should be on. So based on that, we believe that we will be disqualifying straight away if we see any sort of issues with your screen or something. Could you allow VS Code? Perhaps Goris might answer. Do you think we need VS Code?
Do we need VS Code?
Uh,
I mean, we can think about it, but like, why specifically? Otherwise,
mhm. uh, there are few more questions. Do you arrange to participate tier 3 students in IITs for Quantfest first round offline? No, we don't have any such arrangements. So as I mentioned in the very first slide, the participating institutes which for prelims are limited. So the students will have to participate in their particular institutes. And if the institute is not part of the prelims round, they will have to participate online. Greedy algo dynamic programming would be good way to prepare for the prelims. Yeah, there might be some problems which where you DP can definitely help in. So we would definitely recommend you guys to do that. Unfortunately, we can't increase the online selections for this year. Uh, we will try to consider that for next year. Final years, as in, so there are few firms which are coming for basically the final year grads itself, because the placement is in December. So there will be few firms which are directly targeting the students who are 2026 grads. Gene State had recruited in Codefest, the top performer, and you can see the same in the Quantfest as well. In fact, Hudson River Trading also had given the intern from the Codefest. So yeah, offline participants also need to do screen recording. That should be something that is compulsion for all the students. Yes, all from the first to final years are eligible. Do you guys have any questions from Anna or Dhruv regarding how they prepared for the quant? In the morning of day 3, there will be HRT event. Then afternoon onwards, it would be our event and all. What specific to DSA? We are yet planning out on the point deductions. I think we would perhaps skip the wrong answer on test one, but for other, at least in the coding round, it's fine. For the mathematical round, even if you submit a wrong answer, you will be getting penalty points. So for that reason, you are getting 5 pages rough works to do. So we expect you guys to at least solve the problems on the pages and then submit once you are clear about that.
I think later we can share the PPT with the folks. They'll get they'll get the entire details, whatever they want, right? The resources, the dates. We'll just share it in the description.
Yeah. It's not like that the recruiters recruit from the final round participants. We had firms last year who recruited from the regionals, a lot of them. Yeah, for that reason only we are restricting. You can't use any IDE in the first 5 problems. If we get to know, we will be straight away disqualifying. Even in the exam halls itself, if we get to know, you will be moving out of the room. So it will be pretty strict. You know that we disqualified 300 guys from top 700 last year in the Quantfest. So we are pretty strict about that. No, do you think we need DSA in the problems which we have framed for the prelims? I think Anna is not in the group.
I feel like a lot of them are those which require like intuition about counting or like different methods, like we discussed about strategy in games and all. So yeah, it can aid if you think of a different solution, or maybe like explicitly, I don't think they are focused towards like competitive programming or DSA questions.
Yeah. Yeah. So as we said, like you can't write a brute force within the code force. So we will be checking the codes, right? So all the students for those math problems. We have a big team, 50 to 60 guys. So don't worry about that. For the last 7 coding problems, I think it's best if you do the probability section of code forces. Perhaps that would help a lot. In the code forces directly, you need to code. There's no CGPA criteria or something. No, nothing like that. And with that also, I would like to share some of the things about all the firms which are participating in the competition. IMC Trading conducts Launchpad in summer, and they would also be looking with enthusiastic CS28 guys who would be qualifying the prelims, and also it's a very good 3 days event in Mumbai. So I would really recommend all the 28 guys to participate in the competition. They are also looking for the final year grads, so it would be really good. All the quants try to uh, see the talented guys, try to hire them. So if you are participating in these competitions where all the 4 years are participating from across the country, so it definitely reflect your potential. So uh, even Tower Research Capital also is looking for the same. Hudson River Trading is planning something in December, so I'm pretty sure you guys would love that. We also have 2 other participating firms which we would be revealing very soon. They are also going to actively monitor the students throughout the rounds. Yeah, you can participate online, but yeah, the only thing is the online students will have a harder time participating in the competitions due to the limited 20 seats. We ourselves don't know the rating of that coding questions. I don't. What would you rate the problems we have on the coding side?
Like they are actually pretty different from what you get on Code
Code.
Force. So yeah, it's hard to give a number.
So once we get it tested, all the problems will start the testing from today, and we'll perhaps get an idea as well. For the online participants, there will be a post-contest interview. So for selecting those 20 students, we'll be going through an interview process with all of them. So we don't need camera recording or something. some of the problems are extremely tricky, so we would like to understand how exactly you solved it. And all of them are original, so there's nothing like IIT rank or something. It's like you are participating open from all the institutes. We have a agreement signed with all the problem setters, so it's not that easy to do that. Will the prelims qualify be decided from each? Okay. Also, any goodies for top finishers at off and prelims? I think if you guys go through the Codefest LinkedIn posts and all, you'll get to know what sort of goodies we give. So you won't be limited with the number of goodies. There will be 40, 50 goodies. You can submit unlimited times, but again, there will be penalty points in the last 7 questions. I think we can then wrap up this meet. We'll entertain last 2 minutes for the questions, and then we will wrap up the meet at 9:40 p.m. Pritesh, would you like to share how exactly the monitoring and everything would be there in IIT Delhi? We will get all the NITs on board for the Codefest as well, so it's fine. We'll contact you. So even Codefest will be offline from next time. So we'll open the institute registration slot from November till end of December. Game theory won't be required, I suppose. Perhaps maybe 1 or 2 problems at max, but it's primarily motivated towards probability. Fine, last 1 minute and then we will wrap up the meet. Yeah, for 7 questions, you will have to write complete code for them. All right, then we are wrapping the meet now. Thanks a lot, Gauris. Thanks a lot, Siddharth, Pritesh, Dhruv, and the whole team of IICPC. Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot for joining in, guys. Bye bye.
Bye.
And all the best for the prelims.
Yeah,
Yes.
all the best.